Star Citizens, and welcome to another video. This one is going to be us going over the Anvil Aerospace Day at Invictus launch week. I just want to say we are still doing our ship giveaway. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment on a video from this month, and we will make sure you're entered to win that MPUV tractor that we are giving away this month. And next month, just stick around, because what we give away next month is going to be real nice. I don't care how long you've been in Star Citizen. What we give away next month, you're going to want to stick around. And you're definitely going to want to go and find a secret code from one of my videos. So go back and watch, because that's going to be relevant. And also, you're going to want to also like, subscribe, and leave a comment this month. That's also going to be relevant. So, whew, I can't wait. June is going to be awesome. Anyway, let's get into this Anvil Aerospace video. So, I'm going to talk about these fairly quick because I've been letting these videos go super long. So I'm just going to get in and I'm going to say what I need to say very quickly. All right, so the Aero, one of the best light fighters in the game. If you buy it, you will not be upset. I don't care who you are. If you are into light fighters, if you're into space combat, if you're into dogfighting, you buy an Aero. Period. You could buy a Gladius. Gladiuses are nice. They don't do as well in atmosphere. This ship, amazing. Now, is it top tier? Is it the top of the list? Maybe. Depends on who you are, how you like to fly, and certain things like that. But I know I enjoy flying the Aero so much that I'm going to just call it the best fighter in the game. And if you don't like that, then hey, oh well. All right, the Ballista. It's overpriced, but it's a great vehicle. Now, I think you should purchase it in game. However, just remember, once it runs out of those missiles, you have to find a way to restock it. And I don't even know how to do that besides taking it to a pad and restocking it that way. But outside of that, I have no idea how to restock it. Once you're able to restock it, it might be cool. You can sit a few barrels, I guess, of missiles next to it and it'll be worth it. But right now it is not worth it because you can't restock the thing. You can't restock it outside of a pad. So once you run out of missiles, you're just out of missiles. Now, does it do its job? Absolutely. This thing will take out an A2 on its way in. However, you just better be a good shot, because if you don't do it well enough, you're not gonna, if you miss once, you're probably out of there. Yeah, I think it's good to purchase in game. I don't think it's good outside of game. Also, don't forget that it has those weapons on the front, and those weapons on the front are like to keep people from like just rolling up to it and destroying it. So I think it will be good once it's finalized and all the gameplay is in, but it's just overpriced. $140 too much. C8R Pisces, one of the best ships in the game now. It's $65. It's one of the cheapest ways that you can respawn in a ship, because if you didn't know, you can medical respawn into ships now. It's just one of the best ships in the game now. There's no other way to put it. If you buy a C8R Pisces, you will have a great experience, because even though it can't carry like a bunch of cargo or anything like that, you can go and do a lot of different missions in this and not worry about dying, because you'll just respawn back into your ship and then you can just fly away. So I'm not quite sure if you can fit a pulse in it, but if you can fit a pulse in it, this thing is even better. Now, I don't quite think you'll be able to fit one in there. It looks like you need like 2 SCU of space, and it doesn't look like it quite has that. So you might be able to fit it in there if you never close that door. But yeah, if you can fit a pulse in there, hey, you know, more power to you. You might be able to fit the Pulse LX because it doesn't have the gun in the front, so we'll see. But yeah, one of the best ships in the game. It's a medical ship, but really it's right now, it's just a respawn ship, and it's $5 more than the Nursa. I need the Nursa because I'd prefer to do the ground thing. I need my ships to fly, this particular ship to go under the radar. So yeah, you know, I think you get a C8R or a Nursa and you're fine. Some of the better things that you can purchase in the game. The C8X, if you got it with a Carrick, it's great, excellent. Otherwise, I would probably skip it. There's better ships, it's hard to say better ships. There's ships that can do more, and I don't know if at the same time though, it's a great starter ship. So if you want to start with it, however, it doesn't have a jump drive. And that's my biggest concern with it, is that you're starting with something that doesn't have a jump drive. and you're not going to be able to, you know, go anywhere. No quantum fuel or quantum drive. So I think it's better used as a ship that's put into another ship, and I think it's better used. It's the best of the C8s as far as the Pisces. It's the best as far as fighting, because it has the 4 weapons on it. But yeah, I think it's better used as, hey, I have a bigger ship, I want to put a smaller ship in it. You take this. No other way I could justify it. But $45 is pretty cheap either way. The Carrick, one of the best ships in the game. You can do medical, you can do repair, you can do the best jump point mapping in the entire game. It has a holo table. It has pretty much every facility you can think of. It's got even a repair room where I think you can repair the drones. I'm not 100% sure what that repair room is going to be used for. It has great, like you could see on the top here, that it has great this excellent ability to like EVA out from the top. But also just beware, make sure your doors are locked, because that's exactly where people are going to be boarding you from too. So just be aware of that as well. But yeah, it's going to be one of the best ships in the game, bar none. Doesn't matter what you're into. If you get a Carrick, you'll find a use for it. Not to mention it has modularity, and if you don't like the Carrick as is, I'm sure you'll be able to find a module for it. So Carrick, again, one of the best ships in the game. It's overpriced right now, but technically it's not, because I think it's still going to end up being $725 when it's all said and done. But it used to be $350, so it's kind of hard to, it's hard for us people who've been playing the game for a while to look at it and say, oh, that's a deal. But it really is, because it's going to be one of the best ships in the game. The Centurion, so this is the gun version of the Ballista. It's $30 less. Still, same thing I would say about the Ballista. This one is, except this one has a massive blind spot at a certain point. I'm not going to tell you what it is. If you know what it is, you know what it is. You know this thing has a huge blind spot. But yeah, just make sure that if you get these, you're buying them in game. I think they're worth it in game. This one is worth it. The other one not so much. But this one you don't have to reload. So this one is immediately worth it, and it'll take out a bunch of fighters. It'll take out fighters very quickly. So just be aware. This is great for anti-air, and I would actually, if I'm going to buy one in game right now, I'd actually get this one, because if I needed missiles, I would rather just fly a ship around to protect the base rather than having something sitting on the ground right now. But yeah, buy in game, but it's definitely a useful ship right now. The Crucible, I think this is going to be one of the most underrated ships in the game, and I think it's going to be underrated because it's hard to get people into the idea of repair gameplay. Repair gameplay is going to be one of those things where if you like medical, you're going to like repair, because medical is fixing a person and repair is fixing a ship. So you just have to figure out which one you want to fix more. And I'm pretty sure they're going to flesh out the repair gameplay more than just like aim a beam and fix it. But right now, where repair is sitting, I don't think it's useful to put in the game. So that's part of why they push it back, and it's so far back. But think about it. This is also a pocket carrier, because you can fit a little ship in there and you can go and do stuff with it. So, you know, I think this ship is underrated, not only because it can repair itself, but it also can repair massive ships. It's going to be the only one that can repair massive ships. Like, you can take a Vulcan and you can attempt some repairs, but you're going to do this much with the Vulcan. With the Crucible, you're going to be able to repair anything. And also, the way the ship looks is awesome to me. It's our little flying garage. Not to mention that garage portion, this little portion that the F7C is in, that detaches. So you can sit that somewhere, have people working on that, then take the 2 big arms and then go and work on another ship. So you can literally have 2 separate, it like splits into 2 ships that can do things. I think that's awesome. And I think it's going to be underrated. I think this ship is going to end up being $700 when it's all said and done. So right now, I think you're getting it at half price. This and the Endeavor are probably the 2 best deals in the game right now as far as saving money. $350 off the top, because both of them are going to be at least $700 when it's all said and done. The F7C. So I didn't mention this because I kind of wanted to wait, but I'm actually going to talk about it now. I skipped over this because I wanted to wait, because the F7 Hornet Mark 1 is getting retired, and it's getting retired because the Mark 2 is better. It just is. I'm sorry. The Mark II is better. But the good news for all the people who are like, I want my Mark I and I want to keep it. I think because they're retiring it, I think that means that I think they're pretty much solidifying that they're going to make Mark II variants of everything. So I don't really have anything to say about the Mark I because it's going the way of the dodo. But if you have the F7C Mark I, you'll still get to keep it. You just won't be able to purchase these in game anymore. Obviously, the F7C Mark II is where you should be headed. The F7C Mark II is an excellent ship. It's one of those ships that I think no matter who's flying it, they'll be pretty good at using it. It's just a great ship all around. Whereas I wouldn't have said the same thing about the regular F7C, the Mark I. But yeah, if you have the Wildfire, get a Mark II. They're most likely gonna have a Mark II of that. If you got the Super Hornet, they're probably gonna have a Mark II Super Hornet, a Mark II Tracker, a Mark II Ghost. So yeah, I'm looking most forward to the Ghost version. If I was to purchase another Hornet, it would probably be a Ghost. Just because I like the idea of that stealth, and it's one of the few ships with minus 40% reduction, so it reduces 40% of your signatures in every category to make it stealth. So yeah, that special armor on it does work. So yeah, and I think stealth fighters are going to be more impressive than people believe. So I'd say yeah, it's probably going to be pretty good. Now, what did I mark this ship as? I think I gave it like a 3 or a 4 when I was rating it. But I think as of now in game, that's what it is. But I don't think in the future that's what it will be. So yeah, yeah, if you have any of these, you know, if you want to keep it just for you know, maybe you have some connection to it or something, you want to keep it, I understand. But right now I'd upgrade and wait for the Mark II variants. The Gladiator. The Gladiator is weird. It's a combat bomber, so it's really useful. However, the idea is broken because the ship is broken. The ship is old. It's one of the oldest fighters in the game. It's one of the oldest bombers. It's one of the oldest ships in the game. So I think once they update it, this will be a much more useful ship. Right now, I would just get a CCU to it. I wouldn't buy it. And it's, you know, I think it's more of a purchasing game anyway. But if this is one of your ships and you're like, oh, I really love this ship, then I would definitely just have a CCU to it, and I would have like some cheaper ship that I'm using until this gets its rework. The Hawk. All right, what can I say about the Hawk? The Hawk is, I mean, it's meant to just capture a prisoner and take them. It's a bounty hunter ship, right? You bring them in dead or alive. That's what it says, right? But it's also a nice little light fighter, so it does fit that multi-role capability. My only thing about it is not being able to carry a passenger, but technically, if you're carrying, you know, somebody in the back, that's a passenger. So it doesn't always have to be a criminal you put back there. It's probably going to be an uncomfortable ride for whoever's back there. But hey, if it's a person, if it's an actual person, right, that's what we got our camera mode for. So we can just be outside of that little tiny room. So, you know, I think that's an alternative use for that prisoner pod. But the Hawk's a nice little ship. It can fight decent. It's not a dog fighter, but it can hold its own if you know how to fight. But you should practice with it if you plan on getting into dog fights with it. Yeah, I think it's a nice little ship. I don't think anybody's going to be upset with it. I think it's a little overpriced at $100. I'll probably put it at $85, but it's still a good ship. I don't think 100 is too crazy for it if you're going to buy it. But again, it would be a purchase in game for me. But I think if you have one, I'm not mad at you. The Hurricane is kind of outdated at this point now. It's only outdated because of 3.23 putting the Scorpius in a better position as far as hull HP and putting it in a better position as far as DPS. So the Hurricane used to be more tanky than the Scorpius, and now the Scorpius is more tanky than the Hurricane. So why am I talking about the Scorpius? Well, both of these ships are best run with 2 people. And in fact, if you don't have 2 people, you shouldn't be even flying this thing. It's 2 people or bust in these things. That should be considered the minimum crew for both the Scorpius and the Hurricane. But those are the 2. I think both of the ships are great ships. I think you'll have more fun flying the Scorpius, but I think the Hurricane is one of those ships where it's such a small target to shoot at that sometimes you just end up winning with the Hurricane against all odds. So I think if you get either one, you're doing good, but the Hurricane's cheaper. So I think it's earning its price at being the slightly less competitive ship. Like it's a little, I think the Scorpius is better, but I don't know if the Scorpius's price is that much better to where I would pick it over the Hurricane. So all I'm saying is if you're gonna buy the Hurricane, make sure you invest in a Scorpius outlook, right? You look at this Scorpius and you look at the Hurricane. Those are the two ships you compare if you're looking for a two-person fighter, at least until the Mark II Super Hornet comes out. The Legionnaire. Okay, so the Legionnaire I put with the Mantis as far as ships that will absolutely destroy, will absolutely get destroyed. So if you are in a Legionnaire and I see you coming at me, I'm shooting everything at you because you're not boarding me. You're not boarding me. I'm shooting everything I have at you. The same thing with a Mantis. If you pull me out of Quantum, I'm going crazy on you because you're forcing me to be in a place I don't want to be. So I'm going crazy. I don't care if I run out of all my bullets. You are going to die. So yes, I'm coming at you with everything I got if you are in a Legionnaire. So just be aware. These are going to get the most attention because nobody wants to be boarded. It's unless they have a bunch of people waiting for you, right? Like you're probably not best to board a dropship, right? Because we're going to have a bunch of people just waiting there to shoot you. But if you're boarding something like a Carrick where we might have a bunch of goodies on board or something like that, you just want to steal the ship and take the goodies off or something, then it might be a different story. So I think the Legionnaire is a great ship. I do think it's an earning game. It's not overpriced or anything. I think it's priced correctly. I just don't think I would purchase a ship like this outside of the game because it's going to be fairly cheap inside the game. The Liberator. So this is my favorite Anvil ship currently, at least until they come out with a capital. I think this ship is going to get a competitor though, or it has a competitor actually. The Caterpillar has arrived, folks. The Drake Ironclad seems to me to be a direct competitor to the Liberator and the C2. It looks like it is, but we don't have a Q&A on it as of the recording of this video, so I don't know. But when I looked at it, the first thing I thought was Liberator. It looks like the Liberator. Now, can it do everything the Liberator can? Because the Liberator is a monster. The Liberator is a beast. I have one, and I intend for this to stay as long as unless the Ironclad absolutely blows me away, I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep my Liberator. But the Caterpillar is coming. So once I see that Q&A, that's going to determine it. But let's just go over what the Liberator has. The Liberator can fit 2 small ships on top of it. Well, two small ships on top of it. It can fit 1 extra small ship on top of it or vehicle. It can fit multiple vehicles inside of it. On top of the fact that it can fit those vehicles on top, it can fit vehicles inside, and it can fit ships inside. It can fit like Furies and all the smaller things. It can fit a bunch of bikes. It can fit Razors. It can fit a bunch of ships inside of it on top of that. Then it can carry 400 SCU on top of all that. That means if you got this thing fully loaded with vehicles, fully loaded with ships, you can still fit 400 SCU in it. That is incredible. On top of that, it has some decent firepower. And then the nail in the coffin for it, the thing that made it one of the greatest ships in the game for me is it's going to be one of the most long-range ships in the game. That means when you hop in a Liberator, you can go anywhere in the verse one way. So that means it's built for you to take whatever you need as far as possible. And I think that is excellent, right? So like, one of the things that I gave up when I bought my Odyssey is I gave up a lot of the cargo space of the Carrick because I don't own a Carrick, I own an Odyssey. So I was thinking, well, man, when I have to move a bunch of stuff, it's going to be much harder because I don't have that Carrick anymore. The Odyssey has, I think, 200 and something SCU instead of like I think the Carrick has like 400 and something. So now I have the Liberator where I can take all of that stuff plus some vehicles. So I just don't need it as much. Now, the Caterpillar seems like it's gonna be carrying a little bit more cargo than this, but I don't know if that is going to include the vehicles it can take and stuff like that. So we gotta wait for the Q&A. But the Liberator is, to me, it's one of the best Anvil ships in the game. I think it's my favorite Anvil ship. I can go back real quick and check, but yeah, let's see. Nope. I do like the F7C Mark II. The Crucible is up there. Crucible's top 3, Carrick's top 5, C8R's top 5, Arrow's top 5. Yeah. The Terrapin, yeah, that's there it is. I just said that's my top 5. Yep, the Liberator's still number 1. To me, it's going to be one of the best ships in the game. It's very expensive. 575 is a lot to pay. So I understand if people want to purchase it in game. I do think that price is going to go up when it gets in game. I think that this is going to end up being a $750 ship. If not, it will be $700 to $750. So it's going to be expensive. So I get it. But just know it's going to be very expensive in the game. I'm thinking this ship is going to be 50, 60 million when it's all said and done. Maybe when it comes out, it might not be that. Might be like 40 million. But when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be 50 or 60 million to buy it in game. And I think we're starting to see that the prices. I think we're slowing down. The amount of money you can earn in game is lowering, right? So you got to make that decision yourself. Do you want to earn these ships in game or not? I'd prefer to save the time right now because I have other goals for my money. Like I want my ship, the first ship that I purchased in game, to be like an Idris M or something like that. So, you know, I don't want to buy smaller ships in the game. I want my first ship to be like something big, or a Kraken or something, you know. Yeah, the Spartan. So this ship is underrated, and I even underrated it because the Spartan has a very specific use case, and that use case just arrived with distribution centers. You're going to have these areas where it's going to be super anti-air at times, right? So like right now you can just fly onto a distribution center, it's fine. But at some point, those, like, you might fly up to a distribution center, it's going to be locked down. And it's going to be locked down because it's been hit so many times by people going in and stealing stuff or raiding it or whatever. And you're not going to be able to get into the distribution center by plane. You're going to have to drive in. Now, if you want to take 8 people with you, how are you going to do that if you got to drive in? There's not a whole lot of ships that can take 8 people with them. In comes the Spartan, which has the nice little mini guns on the top for anti-personnel stuff. You can't get hit by anti-air. It's heavily armored, so you ain't got to worry about people dropping bombs and stuff on you because it can make it to the destination, get all the people inside. So that's what the Spartan's for. Now, it's also not overpriced like its brother and sister, the Centurion and the Ballista. So it's $80, right? Now, $80 is the very max price that I would say anybody should be buying a vehicle for, any vehicle in the game. Maybe the Nursa. The Nursa could have been a little bit more expensive if you ask me, but I'm glad that they didn't make it that way. But yeah, the utility of this ship, I think, is going to be underrated. Now, if you're not interested in that type of gameplay, the ground combat, assault gameplay, then this isn't for you, obviously. But I would earn it in game just because I think all vehicles should be earned in game, with the exception of the Nursa. I'm sorry, I know people are going to be like, yeah, it's still cheap in game. I don't care. I'm still buying mine. I bought it. I like it. I'm buying it. I like it. I'm keeping it. But yeah, I think it's an earning game, but still, I understand the value of that ship. The Terrapin is one of my favorite looking ships. It's just so overpriced. It's overpriced. It's probably the most overpriced ship in the game outside of the Prowler. The Prowler is probably the most overpriced. That ship should be $200 less than it is. Actually, $240 less than it is. And this ship is only outpriced by like $80, maybe I could say it's probably outpriced by about $60. So, you know, I think this ship is worth $160 because it has incredible armor for a tiny ship. It's the smallest ship with the best armor, as in there's no ship that is this size that has better armor. On top of that, it has better armor than some ships that are twice its size. On top of that, you can cover the entire front with this armor thing that kind of keeps you safe and blocks your heat signature a little bit. And it can go super far. It's got like massive hydrogen and fuel and quantum fuel tanks, so it can get you wherever you need to go. The scanners are incredible. That scanner, I think, is the same one that's on the Carrick. It's or one of the same ones that's on the Carrick. And yeah, this thing is incredible at what it does. It will be great at scouting. However, I do think I do want to see what it does with stealth gameplay. I want to see what this thing looks like when it's blacked out and it's got full stealth parts, because I think the Ultimate Scout has to be stealthy. They show in the commercial for this, they show it hiding beneath an asteroid, but I'm not 100% sure that works. I mean, yeah, you can turn the ship off. Anybody can do that though, so I don't know. That doesn't make the Terrapin special. I think if you put stealth parts on it and that significantly makes it less hard or less easy to detect, now we're talking about something great. So the Terrapin is one of my favorite ships. I love the way this little turtle looks. I just love the way it looks. It's so great. I can't wait to purchase one in game. I'm gonna purchase one in game, but I don't want to. I want to buy this ship outright, but I just can't. I can't justify 220 on it. I can't, even as much as I love it. And then lastly, the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is one of those ships that just became a much better ship because of the existence of the Nursa. The Nursa can fit on a Valkyrie. That means that a Valkyrie has a hospital on it. That means a Valkyrie can respawn people. And what do you want in a dropship? You want a dropship that can respawn people. The Valkyrie can do it. Now, I have an A2, so I don't need a Valkyrie because my A2 can also fit a Nursa on it, which means I can respawn people onto that. But I also think that this is going to be one of those ships that people are going to wish they bought once ground combat really comes into play. I think it's an excellent ship, and now that you can fit a Nursa on it, I mean, you can have, 15 people jump off this thing, fight, and then respawn onto the ship, get into the little minigun thing, shoot off the ship to keep people away from it. Then they can get back into the fight with their first person weapons, and then somebody else dies, they do the same thing. The Valkyrie's gonna be one of the funnest ships in the game. I don't care who you are. If you're interested in game, if you're interested in atmosphere combat, if you're interested in ground combat, if you're interested in any type of dropship or base gameplay where there's some type of combat, the Valkyrie is going to be a great ship. I think I'm going to keep one for my Galaxy, because I have CCUs to every ship that I own, so I own them, but I think I stop at certain CCU points because I think those ships are useful now. I don't think I'll need a Valkyrie in the end game because I have an A2, like I said, but I do think I'm going to want one until the Galaxy comes out, because once the Galaxy comes out, that's going to change the way I think about stuff anyway. There's certain ships that once they come out, they're going to change the way I play the game. But yeah, that's it for all the ships for that. But I do want to take you in real quick and look at this Valkyrie upgrade. I'm glad they ended on that. So there's a few war bonds you can get here. So you can get the Retaliator war. I didn't have videos yesterday, so I didn't talk about this. But you can get the Retaliator war bond here. The Retaliator war bond's $15, so you're saving $15 if you get the war bond here. I think it's worth it. Again, if you have a ship that's more than $175 you're trying to buy, you buy this, it'll save you $15 on that ship that's above $175 as you do your CCU chaining. And then the other one is the... Oh, they still have the Firebird one as well. Look at that. They still have the Firebird one. So the Firebird one is $15 as well. So that's another one that you can, save money on. The Firebird, the Valkyrie is the last one. So the last one, this is a $25 savings right here. $25. You get the War Bond edition, it's $350. That means you're going to come from the Gemini. You'll come from the Gemini. Yep. The Gemini is $340, so you'll pay $10, and then that'll get you a $25 saving. So it's already paying for itself when you purchase it. $10 gets you $25. So yeah, that is awesome. That's awesome, because if you have a ship that's like, let's say you wanted a Galaxy or something. I'm trying to think of a ship that's more expensive. Better yet, here's a whole list of ships that you can get. A whole list of ships that you should get this CCU for. If you're looking at this sale or even in the next sale to purchase any of these ships, get this CCU and then apply it once you're ready, once these ships are in game. So the A2, the Polaris, the Nautilus, the Hammerhead, the Perseus, the Carrick, the Liberator, the M2, the 600i, either version of it. No, not either version of it, just the $600 Explorer, and the C2 and the Reclaimer. If you want any of those ships and you know that you're going to purchase them with real money, buy this CCU. If you don't buy any other CCU, buy this one, okay? And then that'll help you out. And yeah, that's it for this one. I hope this one has been less than 30 minutes. I have no idea, but I tried to go as fast as I could. And yeah, like I said, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment so you can enter that contest, and I'll see you in the next one. It's been real. Peace.